Hello, Cody. Welcome to the Revitalize Womanhood podcast. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you, Gina. It's so fun to be here with you.
It's fun to see you again. I got to finally meet you in person and hug you at the Mixhers event in St. George. That was so fun. The pool party was so fun.
I loved having you there, and it's so nice to be getting to know you and being able to call you my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? It's so Mixhers, I have been an ambassador for Mixhers probably from the beginning, honestly, over on Pure and Perfection. I think I have been with you guys on this ride since the beginning, and I absolutely love, so your whole demeanor of what Mixhers stands for is exactly what I feel in my community. It's like the whole vibe of just being a hype girl, a forever hype girl for all of these other women.
Well, no wonder that I just instantly connected with you because, hype girls, we surround ourselves with other hype girls. So it's great. Yeah. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Would you do me a favor and maybe tell my listeners, who is Cody Sanders?
Sure. Hi, listeners. Let's see. Cody Sanders. I always talk about what I do for a profession, but there's obviously much more to me than what I do for a living. But my background is I'm a holistic health practitioner and I'm a functional nutritionist. And I'm the co-founder of Mixhers, which is a nutritional supplement company that's made to help support women's hormones and health and happiness. And I've been in the health and wellness world for almost 30 years. I was in private practice for over 25 years. And I just have such a passion for helping women feel their best because when we feel our best, we can go out and do our best in the world, all the things that we're supposed to be doing. There's nothing that holds us back more than when we're feeling not healthy and feel like we're debilitated, especially when it comes to symptoms that we might be suffering with when that have to do with our hormone health or that time of the month. So that's a little bit about me.
I love it so much. Isn't it interesting that you said that when we feel our best, we can do the best? Because seriously, we know in our experience, when you get together, a community of women, they can make mountains move. They can make the most amazing things happen. So tell me a little bit about, I saw a little clip of you guys just donating a bunch of amazing product to what was that?
Mothers Without Borders?
Yes.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I know. I am passionate. So the founder of Mothers Without Borders is actually a friend of mine. I've known her for a long time. Her name is Kathy Headley, and she's incredible. She's one of these types of women that literally, saw a need and didn't just stop and think, well, somebody else is going to take care of things. That she went into action. She figured out how to do just one thing that could help make a difference, and then those one things just add up, and now she's inspired thousands of people to join her, and she's making this huge difference. She's based in Africa mostly, but she actually has an organization that helps women from all over the world to have a safe place to be. So sometimes it's just a shelter. Sometimes it's a way for them to have education. She's also all about empowering women to be able to be self-sufficient. And, she just, anything that is needed to help a woman be able to succeed, that's what her organization does. And then she also takes care of children. So she has an orphanage, but it's not necessarily an orphanage. It's not where people go to be adopted. They live there, and she cares for them. She feeds them. They have a farm where they grow their own food, and they teach, the people that are in that village how to be farmers, how to be able to have the skills that they need to build buildings, to fix cars, to, whatever. She's just an incredible lady. I've always looked up to her. She's one of my heroes. And so I was excited when I was visiting with her. I was asking because I was interested. I wanted to maybe see what I could do to help as well. And she says, Cody, one of the things that is so interesting is that a lot of women think that the women here in Africa are not getting an education because there's a stigma around having a period and they don't have the supplies that they need. And she says, actually, they have access to all the tampons and the pads and the female, protective, whatever, things that we use. She says, but what they don't have access to is that they don't have nutritious food. They don't have the building blocks that help to support their body to function optimally. And something that I teach a lot about, over at Mixhers, and we talk a lot about, is that hormone imbalance shows up for women and for all people, but especially for women, as symptoms that like period cramping and bloating and moodiness, and there's over 100 symptoms that are associated with just PMS alone. But all of that shows up, and the number one root cause for hormone imbalance is nutrient deficiency. So you can see how, it's these girls that maybe they have the supplies that they need, but they don't feel well. So kind of going back to what I was saying before, where if we can empower women to feel their best, then they can show up to school, they can show up to work, they can like do the things that they're meant to do instead of suffering a week out of every single month of their, reproductive years. And so that's what we are doing at Mixhers, is we can provide the nutrients. I mean, obviously we want them eating healthy foods, but the Mixhers products are full of what's known as nutritional therapy grade nutrients. They're all pure, natural, nothing artificial in them, and they have the key nutrients that our hormone system needs in order to thrive and to work optimally.
That's amazing. Wow, she sounds like an incredible woman. I am definitely going to be looking her up.
It's awesome.
What a mission. And what a mission for her, especially to say, well, I'm going to do one thing. What can I do? And then that leads to the next thing. And then that leads to the next thing. It's not like, I'm going to go change the world. Yeah. But that's kind of in there in the back of your head. You're like, I'm going to do this. But if we thought like that, we'd never do it because it would be way too scary.
Paralyzed.
It would be way too scary.
Yeah, it feels overwhelming, and then that can feel frustrating because you feel like I'm just one person. What difference can I actually make? I want to make a difference, but how can I actually do it? And I just have learned so much from her because her approach is just take it one thing at a time. If you can give that person a ride somewhere to get out of danger, or if you could like share a lunch, or you know what I mean, something like that. These little things add up, and they do make the biggest difference.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for donating to something like that. And honestly, thank you so much for being so incredible and willing to donate to lots of different things. Not just that. I mean, on such a smaller scale, you guys were so good to donate tons of products for me for my live event that I threw down here in St. George. You were just like, yes, absolutely, let's get to it. And then my retreat, every one of my women left with the bag of something great in their swag bag. You guys, your mission is not just sell a product. Your mission is get the freaking product out there. And I love that.
Get it into the hands of women because, I know it's maybe not the best business model, but truly it's something that we're super passionate about. My business partner, Jess Toulson, and I, when we started Mixhers, yes, we were very excited about the products that we were offering to the world. But something that is just as important to us as just the products is the community that we can help to create, because we recognize that there's a need for that. I love that you're bringing women together, that you are doing your part in this as well. And so if there's somebody like you that is trying to facilitate an experience where we can bring women together and join forces, then absolutely Mixhers is totally behind that.
So how did you and Jess get together?
Yeah.
Where did that start?
We've actually known each other for, I don't even know, over 15 years. So Jess actually married my cousin. So we are related through marriage. And so I'm so grateful for that because I absolutely love and adore her. She's like a blood sister to me. But when I was in private practice, she was actually one of my clients. So I worked with her nutrition. I worked with her with her fitness. And she had a cute little son, and then she had 2 identical twin girls, which are absolutely adorable. They're the cutest things ever. But after she had these girls, her hormones went wackadoodle, and this was the first time in her life she'd ever experienced anything like that. Her periods, she says they just came, lasted a couple days and then left, and she never really understood why her girlfriends would complain so much about their periods, because she's like, what is the big deal? And she would say, gosh, they're kind of dramatic, or all the things that too many of us have heard over and over again from our friends or husbands or doctors or whatever. But anyhow, so she after she had these twin girls, she started noticing that she had very heavy bleeding. Her periods would last for 2 weeks and very heavy clotting. She also, what I think bothered her the most were two things. She started feeling like she wasn't herself. She started feeling extreme mood swings. She didn't know if she was going to be absolute delight to be around or complete, monster to be around. And the other thing too is that she started having really like cystic acne all over her face, and she's absolutely stunningly gorgeous.
Yes.
But it's sometimes you can hide the mood swings, sometimes you can hide the cramping, those things we can kind of like fake it, but when it's all over your face, the evidence is right there. It really can affect our self-esteem and the way that we feel, as far as our confidence goes. And I think that was kind of the last straw for her. So she, went out and does what most women do and goes out and seeks solutions. And she went to her doctor, and the solutions that she was given were things like antibiotics or a birth control pill or, other things that are a little more drastic, like an ablation, uterine ablation, or, things like that. And she was in her like late 20s. So she was frustrated. She did try several of these options and nothing was seeming to work. And in fact, she started feeling even worse. And so I just remember one of the times that she came to see me, we were doing exercise. We were working out, and she came in like full face makeup. And it was like 6 a.m., And I just asked her, I was like, hey, I've noticed, what's going on? And she just broke down in tears and poured her heart out to me and explained to me like how emotional this has been and how frustrating it's been. And I just talked to her. I just said, I do want to help you with this. This is about hormones. And I'm like, this actually is something that we can address, and we can do it the right way by going at the root cause of why. These other things you're trying, like the birth control and the antibiotics and things like that, they can help with the symptoms for sure. They definitely can help kind of make it seem like your hormones are being healed and that everything is great. But you have to dive deeper. You have to ask why. Why is my body having these types of symptoms? Why is my body behaving in this way? Because symptoms are just our body's way of communicating with us. And when you can learn to understand the language of your body, then you can address why these symptoms are coming about and actually do the things that are necessary in order to heal. So this was the first time she'd ever heard that this was connected to her hormone health. And she admits, because she, this is obviously something I worked with lots of clients, but when I worked with Jess, she was pretty hestant about anything that had to do with like herbs or natural, ways
You're
of
a
addressing.
snake oil salesman.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't know what you're doing. You just, got your little witch's brew happening or whatever. And right. And so, but I think she had gotten to the point where she was just kind of desperate, like just open to anything. And that was great. I'm grateful that she was. And so, and it just so happened that I had been creating what's now known as Hertime. And I was making it because she wasn't the only client that I was seeing that was struggling and having these same kind of issues and complaints. And I was frustrated because I felt like I was hearing the same story over and over again, like a broken record. These women that were going to, searching for solutions and then not really giving anything that was actually addressing the root cause. And so I went to work and created this formula. And so Jess was one of the first 100 people that I had try this. And so I said, you have to stay consistent with this, though. This is not a quick fix. This is something where we are going to address the nutrient deficiency that's most likely the cause, for all of these symptoms. So stay consistent with it. I'm going to check in with you every 2 weeks. We're going to see how you're doing, and we're going to work through it. But let's do this for 3 months. And she's like, okay, I will. Well, the first week she was contacting me and asking like, what is this? This is crazy. Like, I started my period and it just showed up, and it's like no big deal. My moods are way better. And then, over the month and a half, her skin completely cleared out. She stopped having breakouts. Anyway, she just continued to feel better and better the more consistent she was with it. And afterwards, she says, what are you doing with this? And I said, honestly, Jess, I'm making it in my kitchen, and I'm just trying to help one woman at a time. I'm just trying to, I don't know. I don't have time to like build this into anything. I know that it's something like I'm having such great testimonials coming back to me. It's exciting, but I don't even know. And she's like, okay, let's partner up. Would you want to do this with me? And I was like, let's talk. So that's the history. That's how Mixhers began, is the two of us were kind of the original girls in need. recognized that there was a solution needed, and because it wasn't being presented, we were going to find it and we're going to bring it to the world. Every girl deserves to feel her best all month long, no matter what day of the month it is.
Yeah, and her family deserves to have her,
Yep.
gets to have her. I mean, we all know what that means. We all know what that means, because it's not the same person.
Sometimes, right? And then we're just told, like, that's normal. Like, every girl feels like that. Everybody feels like a basket case, or everybody has their heating pad that they just use but it's not normal. It's not how we're designed. It's common, but it's definitely not normal. And so I think that's a huge eye-opener for a lot of women. Luckily now, even just 3 years after we've started Mixhers, more and more education is being put out there, and I love it. People are actually having these kinds of conversations. They're talking about our hormone health. They're talking about what it should be and what it could be. And women are recognizing they've got a lot of power in their hands. The power of nutrition is incredible. The power of managing stress, managing the toxin exposure, that we're facing every single day. These are things that are more powerful than the medications that are often prescribed to us, and they're free. And so, for the most part, obviously you have to buy healthy food. That's not free, but right. It's much cheaper than having to, be buying a lot of these prescriptions, or, the work days that you're missing because you don't feel like you can show up at work and be the person. Like you're saying, you can't show up. Yeah.
Right. Well, also, I love that you say we're having these conversations, because we're having these conversations about so many things now, not just about this. But I'm a woman, and now just because I've started this community and have this podcast, I've now met 3 women. I haven't been doing this that long, and I've met 3 women who have every month almost bled to death. Like, I thought that was like, no, you can't die from this. No, you can't. Like, yes, these 3 women literally almost did every month die from this. Like, yes, this is horrible. And so even just talking about these things and making the information out there aware, available. There we go. Available to these women to know that this isn't. And same thing, these women, the Western medicine wasn't doing them any favors, and so they had to look for different methods. They had to look for different ways of how to take care of myself, and so I love that this platform that you have is like the diving board, and you're just going with it, and I love it so much. It's like anything with this community. It's the same thing as far as mindset coaching, as far as what else? Being isolated, mom rage, mom guilt, all these things that we're not allowed to have these conversations before, and being able to open up to like miscarriages, like talking about those kinds of things, infertility, talking about postpartum depression, what I mean? All of these things that you feel so alone, you feel so isolated in these struggles, but now we're all starting to have these conversations, and it's like, I'm trying to get people on here to talk about these stories to help make it less just about one person. Oh, maybe you're feeling that and you've gone through that. I'm not so alone. You see me, right? You feel seen, heard, loved, right? You can appreciate that. So I love also that you talked about with Jess that this is a lifestyle, because so many times people want to give you a quick fix, and that's just not the case. It's just like a diet. It's like, okay, yeah, you can go lose 10 pounds. You can do that. But to keep that 10 pounds off, you have to maintain. You have to change your lifestyle. You can go and budget for a trip, for a family vacation, but really to be fiscally secure or planning for the future, that's a lifestyle change. These are things that it's not just a quick fix. I can't just take Hertime for that week and expect it to do what it's supposed to do. My body needs to have it constantly coming in, these good nutrients.
Yeah, consistency is key, with anything that is good for us, anything that helps to bless us in the long term. Taking Mixhers products, Hertime specifically, you can feel some benefit, with that first week. But what we do today is going to actually set us up for success next month when it comes to our periods. And so it's what we do consistently. So yes, like that salad you ate last night, good job. That was a really good step in the right direction, right? But if today is not going to stay, healthy, and you're not going to fuel your body continuously with those effective nutrients, then yeah, your body's not going to be able to, it's not going to have the same results. It's not going to have the same benefit as if you are consistent. So that is really what it's about. And I feel like sometimes it sounds like a really simple solution. And it is. It's just like, we all know, like, oh, we should be eating healthy. We need to exercise. We need to manage our stress. We all know what we're supposed to be doing. It is a simple solution, but it takes a little bit of effort, right? And that's why
it's not simple.
It's not
simple.
It can be once you get
into the habits
and establish healthy habits and decide that you are worth it. And having these kinds of conversations, I think is helpful for women to realize that they're not alone, and that there's all of us, that half the population of the planet, that relate, and we're all, experiencing similar things, and we're all doing the very best that we can, and we're going to have some days when we're killing it and we could write the book all about it, and then we've got other days where we are really struggling and we're depending on somebody else to give us that inspiration and guidance. And so hopefully somebody that's listening to this conversation we're having today, it's meeting them where they're at, and wherever they're at, hopefully it's inspiring you to just recognize that you're not alone, and that you're worth understanding your body and your health and your potential, and you're worth putting the effort into supporting all of that.
You nailed it with that you are worth it, because so many women, it's unbelievable how many, because like you kind of think, oh, I understand that there's people with not as good of self-esteem or self-confidence or whatever, but notoriously women do not, whether they feel like they're worth it or not, they do not put their needs first, ever. That's just a common narrative
for that. I know.
We are.
And I think we think that it's a selfless thing to put everybody
you
else
wear it as a
before.
badge of honor.
Yeah. It's like, I think it's a culture thing, because I don't think it's like that in every culture. But enough of that. Like, we have to just start realizing that that's been not serving us at all, that kind of thinking. And it's a total thing that gets said all the time, but we have to put the oxygen mask on first. Mm-hmm. If we're not feeling healthy, it kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning. If we're not feeling our best, then we'll never show up as our best, even if we have the most selfless intention of making sure we're providing everything that everybody else needs. They're not going to get the best of us. And so really, are we helping? Are we helping that much? We could help a lot more if we actually did the selfless act of self-love and care. And so, it's something that I think is so important. And I'm just hoping, I think I'm seeing it more and more. Maybe it's just who I'm surrounding myself with, but I am seeing women around me, like, really, grasping hold of this thought and starting to put it into action and recognize the power that comes from self-care, self-love, putting yourself first. And I love seeing that. It's exciting to me, because I'm like, watch out, world. Like, here we come, some powerful women.
It is who you're surrounding yourself with, because it hasn't quite caught on yet. You know what I mean? It's now people like me and people like you and the communities that we are producing from this. It's like changing the narrative to pour from a full cup, right? Mm-hmm. This has to be from a full cup. That's not selfish. That's what it needs to be. I mean, you cannot go around just empty all the time, or you're just going to be burned out. You're going to be angry. You're going to be, you're starved for everything, physically, emotionally, mentally, literally starved.
Yeah.
So I love that you said that you are worth it, because so many women just don't think of it that way. And whether it's a self-esteem, you are worth it, or just you're not thinking about it because you're not putting yourself first. You're not thinking about yourself first. You're trying to meet the needs of everybody else, and then you're just like an afterthought. So I said this way, and it got a couple of my ladies in my community going, oh. And I said, okay, we are like-minded in that we are doing all these things, this self-growth, the self-betterment, whatever we're doing, but in our businesses, in our lives, whatever, what do we all hold? Like, the number one key to this community is family first, right? We put our families first. And I said, okay, well, who's in your family? Because I have my husband, I have my 3 little boys. There's one more person in that family. So if I am putting my family first, I don't feel mom guilt for going on a retreat. I don't feel mom guilt for working and having a podcast where I get to meet amazing women and filling my cup with this community that I have. I don't feel that way because I am part of my family and I put my family first. And they were like, oh, and I'm like, yes, thank you. At least if that helped you see it differently, you're saying, I put my family first. Well, no, you don't, because you're not putting you first.
You're not putting the whole family first.
Yeah,
I mean, if there was an opportunity for your husband or your boys to go and do something that was going to help improve their lives or their self-esteem, you'd be right behind them, right there supporting that. And I feel like sometimes it feels like, well, I don't need that as much as they do, or I don't know what it is. But let me just say, if you're questioning whether or not you need more self-love and self-help in your life, then if you are feeling mom guilt, if you are feeling things like that, if you are waking up in the morning and you're like sighing because it seems overwhelming and it's maybe not like just lighting you up and exciting you and you just feel tired already, even though you just had a full night's sleep, then you are probably working from an empty cup and you need to do some things, little things. It doesn't have to be this huge. I get it. We're all busy. We all have so many things. So many balls are up in the air, right? But little things, like literally just getting up and doing 5 minutes of meditation, washing your face and like putting your makeup on. I don't know. It could be different for everybody. Getting a good workout in the morning, going for a walk, just going and standing out on your lawn. You know what I mean? Just do something that feels good, that lights you up and helps you to connect to the present moment. Because I feel like that's the biggest thing, is that these women who end up feeling like they're burned out and that they're, running on empty, it's that they are constantly either thinking about what has already happened or they're worrying about what's going to happen. And so they're not in their present moment enough. And you have to be in the present moment in order for your body to be in a place that can heal. And so it's so important. So doing things like going to retreats are amazing. I think every woman needs to do this, and probably a couple times a year. Yes. But you can create little retreats and little rituals that you can do on a daily basis. Maybe you've got something you do in the morning. Maybe you've got something you do at night. Maybe you have a routine where you're literally sitting at a stoplight and that's when you do, your box breathing, or I don't know, like there's so many things that you can do to fill your cup. And it's important to do it. And it needs to be a priority. And we know that, but what is it going to take for us to just really, really actually make it happen?
Right. When you were talking about the simple steps, but we don't necessarily do them because they're not maybe so simple because of our bad habits. But I think about how easy it is for me to add my mixer to my smoothie, right? Because I'm already making that. And so it's so easy for me to just boom. Mm-hmm. That's easy. But it took habit stacking. It took me having the habit of doing a smoothie or having a habit of, walking around because, I've got mine. Nice. Of putting it in your water. You have to get into the good habits of that, but once you do it, at least you have the foundation of starting that. So I have the expert here and I am not going to let you go until we dive into these, because so many of them have changed. It's so interesting because I'm still trying to work through mine, so I don't have to go back on and order or ask for any because I'm still working through mine. So you guys have so many new ones. So we are going to talk all things sex hormone. We are going to talk about it, nitty gritty, down and dirty. I mean, I don't even care. But I can't even pick which ones. So I'm going to tell you which ones are my favorite and what are my all the time go-tos. And I would love to talk about those. So my gut health, so Her Digest, that is my go-to always. Either my Her Greens or Her Digest. So I've got both of those. So tell me, why is it so important that we have good gut health? Like, I mean, I know why.
Hopefully most of us understand now. I think that, again, that there's been more education, more conversation about this. Gut health is connected to everything. It really all starts in the gut. You hear that a lot, and there's a lot of truth to that. If the gut is not healthy and it's not functioning optimally, then we will be in a state of inflamed disease. And so it's really important for us to address gut health for many, many reasons. It also directly affects our hormone health. So our hormone balance is very much affected on how well we are able to detoxify and to eliminate. And the gut is one of our detoxification pathways. And so having, a formula that can help support healthy gut function is key, because unfortunately, the ideal world would be that we're all, eating an amazing, colorful, phytonutrient rich, full of fiber diet every single day. And if we were, our guts would probably be functioning really great. But we don't eat enough fiber. We don't drink enough water. We don't eat things that like fermented foods and, the fruits and vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and kale and, Brussels, all the things, they're not our favorite things to eat. And so, but they're necessary in order to support our detoxification pathways, and that is also necessary, for those pathways to be working in order for us to have healthy hormones. So, the HerDigest provides like prebiotics, which is like fertilizer for the good bacteria in our gut. Most of us know about probiotics and how important those are. That is the good bacteria. And so HerDigest provides both of these things. Plus, though, we've added ingredients like acacia fiber, which is amazing. It is part of like that prebiotic, but it's like a scrub brush that goes in. It like fertilizes those probiotics and it helps to clean out the digestive tract. And so it's amazing. Plus, we also have ingredients in there that help to reduce inflammation, help to heal the gut lining, and help to, support overall, just from bottom to top, function of our gut. And so yeah, HerDigest is probably one of our most powerful formulas. It's one of the ones I feel super passionate about, and I feel like every person, every woman, but every person should be using.
So Hertime's at the top of the list.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We've already Hertimed it out, but you guys, Hertime. And the whole point of these is to be mixed. Like, I can throw my Hertime in, I can put my HerDigest in, I can, today I want a little more Her Power because I'm going to the gym and it's going to be a hard one today. Like, whatever, they mix. That's what the whole point of them is, Mixhers.
Yeah, Mixhers, right?
Well,
kind of going back to what you were saying a little bit earlier about, some of these healthy habits that we're trying to, learn to habit stack and all of that. And they seem simple, but sometimes it's not until we can establish those, habit stacking rituals. But one of the things, too, that Mixhers tries to do is make health easy as possible, because we get it. If it's not easy, you're not going to do it. We try to make it healthy, we try to make it easy, and we try to make it actually very enjoyable. So all of our products, yes, are totally designed to mix together. They work synergistically. The flavors work well together. The ingredients work, and they actually amplify benefits of each other, all the different combinations of all these different formulas. But we provide them in a drink formula, and there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, like I just mentioned, it adds to the fun experience of it. I think that there's a lot of emotion that is wrapped around like a special drink. I think that oftentimes, though, in the day, people unfortunately want a ritual of a special drink, but their choices don't always support their hormone health. So, if they're going for a soda or they're going for too much coffee or whatever, it's not always supporting their health, but we get it. We get why they're reaching for that. It's a chance for you to slow down. It's a chance for you to just savor something, savor the moment. So we figured, why not give you something that provides that opportunity, but is also flooding your body with these incredible nutrients that are supporting your hormone health. And so, yeah, so that's a huge part of it. And then the other thing is that we just want to make it so that it's highly absorbable. So when it's in liquid form, these nutrients you can absorb them. The nutrient or the absorption rate is between 90 to 95%. Where if you were taking like a capsule or a tablet, any kind of supplement that's delivered in that form, most likely you are at most absorbing about 30% of those nutrients. And so you're just not getting as much benefit as you could. So yeah, so there's a lot of thinking that goes behind like not only what it is that we're putting in our formulas, but how we're delivering it as well. And we're trying to just meet women where they're at and make health easy and make, Mixhers is kind of like the one-stop shop for your whole health, like for all of your health needs. We try to supply lots of different formulas that support you when you're going to do a workout. So I love that you use Hertime. That's our non-stimulant formula that helps to open up blood vessels, give you better oxygen delivery, give you energy, and I call it that euphoric energy instead of that fight or flight stress energy that some like pre-workouts and things like that can give you, actually are kind of hindering your progress. We have stuff that helps to support libido. We have things, a formula that helps to support good, restful, and restorative sleep. We have a lot of different options that are out there, and I just love that you are, implementing them into your day, Gina. And it's exciting for me to know that you're using them and that it's making a difference in your life. But I think there's a lot of women out there that they don't know where to start, and so they hear about all of these different formulas and it's not likely, I use all of our formulas every day, but it's not likely that every woman is going to be able to do that. Yeah. And so we actually have a little feature on our website where you can take a quiz and you can see exactly what it is that you most likely would benefit from most. It's like a health history kind of quiz. We find out what's going on with you. And that way you can get like a customized specific suggestions on which of our products would be most helpful for you.
That's such a great idea. I didn't even know you had that there. That's amazing. I'm going to put that in the show notes because that's a great idea, because you do have things like the different ones that you're like, well, maybe. So for me, it would be Hertime, Her Digest, Her Power. Like I've got my order of things where they go, but for someone else, that's not going to be the same thing, right?
Right. For some of us might be past like having periods. Maybe that you've entered into menopause. So Her Thrive would be great for you, and you're maybe dealing with insomnia and so or low libido, so like Her Nightly and Her Pleasure would be the ones maybe that would be most beneficial to you. So yeah, that's what that's there for. Like I said, we try to make health as easy as we possibly can.
I love it. It's like, what's your cocktail tonight, honey? What are you gonna mix me up tonight? Well, I want you to sleep, so here you go. What are you gonna have tonight? So when you came up with Her Pleasure, what is it in this, and how soon will this start working? Because that is a big deal for when we start getting to this age. It's not only, I love that you hit on all the Her Thrive things for the menopause, and especially because my husband and I were talking last night about, are we going to have another baby? Are we not going to have another baby? And he's like, can you have another baby? Will you die if you try to have another baby? Like, I'm getting up into those hormones where I do have a hard time staying asleep. Like I will fall asleep, but I have a hard time staying asleep. Or I don't have the libido that I once did. Also, I just got done nursing. So, I'm still on the roller coaster. But sure. So I love that was your little cocktail for menopause. But honestly, you described me, so that's sad.
No, all through our lives, no matter what age or stage we're in, we have hormones, and hormones don't just stay static unless you're a male. Men have just a 24-hour, hormone cycle. Women have a 28-day hormone cycle during their reproductive years. And as you start getting closer to menopause, you actually go through a phase called perimenopause before that. And that's when a lot of these symptoms start to show up. So the insomnia, the waking up at 3 a.m., that's something super common. There's things like that, the lower libido. You just kind of feel a little different. That's a sign that you could be going into this phase of life called perimenopause. It used to be that women would go into this around 45 to 50, and nowadays it's not uncommon for women as old as young, I should say, as 35. So, I think that it's, again, you need to listen to your body. And these are symptoms: low libido, waking up in the middle of the night, and all of the hot flashes, whatever it is that you're dealing with. These are symptoms. They're not normal. It's not something we should just excuse away because we're like getting to that age. It's just something that is like letting us know, okay, guess what? Most likely your estrogen and your progesterone is not maybe where it used to be. It's not at the optimal ranges. And so progesterone is our sex hormone that just starts dropping first during this phase of life, perimenopause. And so when progesterone drops, it can put us into a state that's known as estrogen dominance. It doesn't necessarily mean that our estrogen's too high. It just means that it's higher than progesterone. And so a lot of times the symptoms that we suffer with, like you're talking about, that can tell us, that can give us a lot of clues into what's happening with you hormonally. So Hertime helps to promote optimal progesterone production. And so it's super helpful, no matter what age or stage. It's great for girls that are just starting their periods, to girls that are going into perimenopause, to even women that are transitioning through menopause. It's very, very helpful. And so that's where I would start. I would say for sure we have Hertime Daily, and then we have Hertime Extra Strength. If your symptoms are severe and you're really noticing a difference in the libido department, or you're really struggling, not getting good sleep, or your moods are all over the place, or whatever, if you're feeling debilitated, I would start with Hertime Extra Strength until you start noticing that these symptoms start to diminish, and then eventually go away, and then transition to Hertime Daily, and just consistently give your body the nutrients like that Hertime Daily provides for you every single day, and you'll be able to transition through all of these phases of life. I know it sounds like I'm making this up, but it's true. You should transition, and it should be no big deal. It honestly shouldn't be changing our lives like it does, and we shouldn't be dreading it at all.
Well, and it's funny that you are saying, like, you do sound like you're this witch doctor and you're coming up with this crazy thoughts. But no, this is exactly what the practitioners are telling us. They're telling us you need to get these vitamins, you need to get these nutrients, you need to get these minerals, right? It's what they're telling us. And so for so long, we've just been going to Western medicine doctors, and they've been saying, okay, well, let's check your levels, and if you're between Australia and Zimbabwe, you're normal. Like, I don't even know. Like you're totally
don't feel
normal.
Like it.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had my blood work done, and because I had a guest on here, and I had my blood work done to kind of see where I was, and I was just waiting for it. My husband and I were both like, you're crazy. This is going to show up in this blood work. You're crazy. And he's like, yeah, you're not. You're fine. And I'm like, I'm not fine. Yes, I'm not fine.
And you're not alone. I feel like this is so common. I feel like we've all been there. And I'm not against Western medicine whatsoever at all. So I don't want any of your listeners to think that. I think that it's amazing. But it doesn't provide you all the information that maybe you need to make the best educated decisions for yourself. And so my whole mission, and I love that it sounds like it's your mission too, is to help women to understand their bodies and to be their own best health advocates, and understand that it's okay to ask questions, and you should do your own research. You should listen to these kinds of conversations, talk to other women, and trust yourself. So like, even if your blood work comes back and it's like, you're normal, you're like, no, I'm not, then guess who's right? It's you. Yeah. You know your body better than anyone. So find another practitioner. Just keep doing. Don't think you have to turn and put your health into somebody else's hands. It should be in your own hands. And I feel like the more we can kind of trust our own gut and our own intuition as women, especially, I think it's one of our superpowers. I think the more we will thrive, our health we will thrive. And so yeah, that's my mission. I love that you're out there also spreading the good word here about that it's possible to feel your best no matter where you're at, in your phases of life.
Right, exactly. And so I love having guests like you that are more the physiological side of things, because I obviously am not the best. I like eat Pop-Tarts and Cheetos. Like I offend. I have a practitioner in my community. I offend her. She's so offended by me. She's like, ugh, I can't even listen to your diet. But I'm like, it's just, things will change when it gets bad enough that you want to change things, right? So everybody's got that level of where we're at. But for me, it's just making everyone aware that there are different things. Just be curious. That's my whole maybe soapbox, is be curious. You are not, what did my guest I just talked to, she said, you are not stuck. You're not a tree, right? You're not a tree. You're not rooted into this. You can go this way. You can go this way. Be curious. Like, it's okay to say yes to things and try it and maybe not like it. It's okay to go down a road and think, oh, maybe that's a wrong road, and get on another road. It's okay to make different choices. But I love that you're talking about intuition, because I think so many of us don't listen to our intuition. So I don't know if it's become culturally, because we have too much noise, so we don't stop to listen to ourselves. We listen to what's on social media, we listen to what's on the news, we listen to blah 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 blah. So the whole concept of intuition is like out the window. But it's like, who knows best? Me. And if something feels like it's not okay, like maybe listen to that. That's something that's built into you for a reason.
Yep, exactly. I'll get on that soapbox with you all day long. I think that, we're turning our power over to other people to tell us what is right. And you have to decide for yourself what's right for you. And just do your best to stay curious. I love that. So stay curious and be open-minded. Just like Jess, my business partner, at first she was very closed-minded. That there was even a possibility that what I was going to show her and teach her and have her try could help, until she finally got desperate. Like you said, like it started hurting too much. And so she was open. She started getting curious, and look how it's changed not only her health, but now it's like changed the trajectory of her life. Like it's like put her on a mission to like help as many women as she possibly can, connect with, to, understand that, guess what? There are solutions out there. Mother Nature herself has like provided us with so many of the solutions that we're needing. So, it's just important to stay open, stay curious, and do our best to learn. But then always, no matter what information, when we're out there doing our studying, then check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. Have a little quiet moment and see if it feels right for you. And if it does, then it's the right thing for you. If it doesn't, then keep searching. Keep going.
Awesome. I love it. I know you dipped your toes in a little bit to the her pleasure. What is it that's so important in the her pleasure?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to actually.
I will wrap it around. No, I will bring it. Don't you worry. I'll bring it back around.
I love talking about her pleasure because it was one of those products that, was considered so, here we were talking about periods, but then to talk about women's libido, it was like we were considered so taboo. But it's definitely something that women should be concerned about and be thinking about and wanting to improve, because our libido is actually our life force, and you can, it's very connected to our longevity. It's an important part of our health and our happiness to support. And it's a myth out there that women don't enjoy sex as much as men. Right? So when we started, we introduced Hertime, and women were using it and they're seeing all these great benefits and they're feeling such a difference. They started writing into us. Like, we have the most incredible community of women. Mixhers is built a lot on like what women are asking for, truly. It's what we formulate and what we design is based on, their suggestions. So a lot of women were asking, do you have anything that could help support libido? And we're like, you know what? I absolutely do. I have something I know specifically that can help. There's very powerful ingredients out there that Mother Nature, again, has provided for us. And I know I could make something that would be really effective. And I just remember, I love telling the story, even though I will get into what's in it. But we took the idea of launching Her Pleasure to our manufacturers, who were men, by the way. Yeah. And nothing against men, but it just cracked me up because they looked at us like we were insane. They're like, you do not want to do this. Do not go down this road. You are shooting yourselves in the foot. You're putting money that you're just going to lose because women do not
pornography
care about
or
sex.
Something? Oh.
No, they had it in their head.
Have they never been to a sex toy party? Like this in the
I don't
secret?
Know. I was like, I looked at them and I was like, it sounds like maybe it's a personal problem for you. I don't know which women you're around, and I'm sorry, but let's get them some Her Pleasure. Like, let's do this, because believe me, women love sex and they deserve to have the support. It's, you only see things for men, to support men's, sexual health and libido and all of that. And so anyways, we pushed forward, even though they highly suggested that we didn't go down that road, and it sold out in a week. It's our second best seller product. Yeah. It's awesome. So I love it. I love talking about Her Pleasure. So there's ingredients in it that help to open up blood vessels, help to create better blood flow into that region and to be able to increase and enhance the strength of orgasm. It also has, it increases sensitivity, and it also has ingredients that this is something that people don't always think about, but it helps to reduce stress. So there's nothing that kills the mood more than stress. And this is one of the biggest root causes of women not feeling like they're in the mood. It's because they're not filling their own cup, they're just living chronically stressed lives. And so of course their libido is going to go down, because if their body, senses that, well, it's a really stressful situation out there, you're living in a very highly stressed, world, it's not a time to bring a baby into the world. So it's going to do all it can to help turn down the dial when it comes to your libido, okay? Because I'm not going to want you to procreate, and so if we can address the stress and we can help to increase the sensitivity and the pleasure factor, you better believe it, sex is going to be awesome for you. And that's what it's all about. We wanted to support women. Men can enjoy it too, and it's cute because there's a lot of men that are buying it for their partners, and some of them have even tried it themselves, and there's some benefits for them as well. But this is for you girls. This is for you to be able to really just feel empowered in that area of your life.
Yeah, take control. Make the choice and take control.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. And I love talking about it too. I love not making it some crass thing that it's like, shh, we don't talk about that. Shh, we don't talk about that. No, we need to, it's the same kind of these conversations that I don't have to do it in a crass way. I don't have to do it vulgarly. Is that a word? I don't have to, but it is a topic that needs to be talked about. Our first retreat we had, I'm not going to say anything, but I will say our first retreat we had in December in southern Utah, and all the girls were all out in the hot tub. We were just chatting, having girl talk, and it was so funny. And this topic came up, and I am not even a prude, but I was just like, oh, like my heart almost stopped, because I'm thinking like, oh, these other women, like I don't know them very well, right? And it came up, and my heart almost stopped. But then, so later on, I was talking to one of my members, and she's like, it's in the Bible. Anything between a husband and a wife, man and woman, it is all bets off. And I was just like, I love you so much. Like, yeah. I could not love you more right now. You are adorable. But it made me feel better. But my heart did almost stop. But I love, these are the same conversations that we need to have. It's like, ladies, you're not alone in this. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of us out here. We are here to support you. And it doesn't have to be in a dirty, X-rated, nasty way. It can be beautiful and between you and your husband, but you got to have the information. You do not need to suffer alone in isolation in this. Like, we see you. Yes. Let's talk about it. Could jump in my DMs. Like, let's just, like, it can be secretly in my DMs. It doesn't need to be a public thing, but
ease into it if needed. Yeah,
ask.
Ease into it. But yeah, it is funny how a lot of girl talk does go in that direction. It just shows you that, like,
how much it's needed.
It's needed. We're wondering, and culturally we're kind of been fed the lie that if you are interested in this, or you're being open and curious, like we are encouraging women to be, that there's something wrong with you, that this is something to be ashamed of, but absolutely not. Feel empowered in all of these different areas of your life that you can express and enjoy and participate in, right? It's all part of this fun experience that we, get to enjoy for who knows for how long, right? So we need to really just make the most of our time and don't be silly and don't hold ourselves back from things just because maybe we've been
embarrassed.
We're embarrassed. We're ashamed. We're, and maybe been taught that we shouldn't be thinking these things. So yeah, I think that's great.
So I told Shay, I wrote in and I said I finished nursing my baby. He's 2.5. I finished nursing him a couple months ago. And I was like, Shay, tell Cody, I need engorgement. Like, how do I get my milk supply gone? So that's your next one. So the next one, get this milk supply gone. What do? I'm just carrying it around here with me, and I don't want to go get the cabbage leaves because everyone's like, oh, it'll go away. Oh, it'll go away. Oh, it'll go away. And I'm like, it's not going away. But then I nursed him. I broke down and nursed him, and it went away. Never came back. So lucky me.
Work with your body.
Yeah.
And a lot of those little, like, old wives' tales and stuff actually are really powerful. That's the reason why they've lasted for hundreds of years.
Right.
Passed
Exactly.
down. But I will say that if you are taking Her Pleasure, it does have fenugreek in it, which does help to support milk supply. So
good to know.
Yeah.
Oh my heck, I took so much fenugreek with my first baby because I was so nervous that I wouldn't make enough.
Yeah.
And then really it's just the system of one bad thing turns into the other bad thing, right? It feeds itself. And so for the next one, I was just like, nope, all bets off. I'm not looking at schedules. I'm not looking at when he needs to eat or when he doesn't, when he wants to eat. It's good. All systems go. It was so much better. Oh my gosh, it was so great. But that's good to know that it's got fenugreek in it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, read the labels, ladies. Read the labels. If you have any questions, I will tell you to reach out to these beautiful women. They are so, if you can't tell from Cody, I mean, go on and listen to their podcast. It is so adorable. You and Jess are so funny. It's called Hertime, and it is so fun to listen to. But if you have not already figured out that these ladies are in this for this mission, and it's people over profit here. This is about the mission. So I really appreciate all that you're doing, and I appreciate your support in what I'm doing as well with your products. That's been amazing. So thank you so much for joining me on this and answering all my questions, and I'm sure I will send them your way.
My pleasure. And thank you so much, Gina. You're so kind, everything you just said, and it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. You're awesome.
Thank you, Cody. We'll talk soon.
Bye.